Hello financial investors and welcome to the channel. My name is Brent and in today's video we are going to be doing our stock market weekly recap for the 30th of November to the 4th of December 2020. We kicked off our last month in the year of 2020 with only 4 weeks remaining. I believe it's going to be pretty exciting and pretty positive here for the remainder of 2020. Now what we're going to be covering in today's video is quickly taking a look at the week that we came from, back from the 23rd to the 27th of November. Take a look at how positive we were within all the indexes. Then we're going to go ahead and jump into this past week. How did our 4 main indexes go? Were we positive or negative? Take a look at our current S&P 500 heat map as far as what stocks were positive, what stocks were negative, what sectors were strong, what sectors were weak. Then we'll go ahead and take a look at the oil, dollar, gold, bonds, take a look at the 10-year yield, and wrap it up by taking a look at our current mortgage rates. I like to do these on a week-by-week basis just to kind of keep track of where the market has been and where it is going and sort of what took place during the current week. So with that said, if you are brand new to the channel, have not yet subscribed, go down below, hit the red button to subscribe, make it gray, hit the bell to be notified every time I release a brand new video, and of course give this video a thumbs up, make it blue, and let's get into the video. Now we were coming from a pretty positive week between the 23rd and the 27th of November. We had that Thursday off for Thanksgiving and it was a pretty positive week. The S&P 500 put on roughly 2.27, the Dow 2.21, the Nasdaq 2.96, and the Russell 2000 looks like I wrote here 11.2%, so that was a massive upswing for the Russell 2000 if that is correct. I'm not sure, I'd have to go back and look at my past video, but I wrote down 11.2%, so that's pretty crazy. Silver, gold, and bonds had gone negative, with silver down 6.14, gold down 4.47, and bonds were essentially flat at down 0.01%. We also saw the 10-year bond rate and mortgage rates decrease by a few percentage points there. So that is where we had came from. Now jumping into this week, where are we going? So this past week between Monday the 30th of November and the 4th of December 2020, the S&P 500 put on 1.67%. There, another pretty positive push to the up. Here we are year to date at 14.5%. I believe on Friday's close we hit a new all-time high. So right there we have the 52-week high of 3,699, which is exactly where we closed. So on Friday at close, we closed at the highest point that the S&P 500 has ever been. Now, are we going to continue moving to the upside, or are we going to fall back a little bit from this high peak? I believe that there is still more room to climb versus decline as we're coming out of this mini crash, this mini recession, and more businesses are kind of getting back on their feet, or with the hopes of getting back on their feet with this vaccine here in 2021. Now the Dow Jones put on a little over 1%, putting them up year to date by 5.89%. We have the Nasdaq putting into overdrive here, up 2.12% again here. To take a look at the close, that 52-week high, the Nasdaq closed at an all-time high there of 12,464 points there. So that is the all-time high. We haven't, oh wow, the Dow Jones is actually at an all-time high as well. That is something I didn't track. I didn't see that the Dow Jones, I guess the Dow Jones had also closed at an all-time high. So right there we have the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, and the Nasdaq all closing at all-time highs. Oh, and the Russell 2000. So the Russell 2000 is up 13.42%. So this beats out the Dow Jones. For quite a while, the Russell 2000 had been in the dirt by quite a bit. But you can see here, this past week went up 2%, putting it up year to date by 13.42%. So that is incredible. Right now, we have the Dow Jones in 4th place as far as percentages for year to date, followed right behind by the Russell 2000, then the S&P 500, and in 1st place as far as year to date, we have the Nasdaq up a whopping 38.91%. So big swing to the upside there. Now, taking a look here at the 1 week performance, this is the website finviz.com. I get occasional messages on Facebook or Instagram talking about this heat map and where I get it. So if you go over to finviz.com, there's a link right there on the desktop as far as getting here. Now, taking a look here, you can see that the majority of the heat map here on the left-hand side, where there's communications, technology, healthcare, financial, medical devices, that's all pretty positive. Now, if we're taking a look at the right, we see consumer defensive, consumer cyclical, industrials, real estate, utilities, basic materials are pretty negative. Looks like the home improvement sector with Home Depot and Lowe's got pretty hammered. We also see utilities here getting pretty hammered. So that's really interesting. A few real estate investment trusts, not all of them. You can see that it's pretty mixed within there. So looks like nothing really stands out as far as any one sector within real estate. Simon Property Group, so that's a mall. What's that? A shopping center. Retail shopping center, real estate investment trust had been beat up pretty badly during this whole period here in 2020. So maybe some of the what do they call, the value REITs have been purchased up, whereas some of the ones that have been high flying and doing pretty well during this downturn, maybe they had a bit of a pullback. So we also see oil and gas down here. Exxon up 3.71, Chevron up 2.16. So it's kind of interesting to see a partial mixture within the S&P 500. Now I do see some pretty positive over at Apple, up 4.86. We also see some semiconductors, so maybe with 5G rolling out, some of these semiconductor companies are doing pretty positive there. Intel up nearly 10%, Qualcomm up nearly 10% there as well. AMD, they've been blasting off, man. I remember when AMD was trading between $9 to $11, and investors were, they were kind of kicking themselves for not buying it when it was down at $4. Now this stock is up at $94.04. I use an AMD processor on my computer versus an Intel processor, so I believe a lot of computer guys are switching from Intel over to AMD just because of the higher, I think it has a higher higher cores versus process power. So that was pretty interesting. We have healthcare up pretty positive. J&J up 4.35. Pfizer continue to blast off, up 8.35%. There was a split a while back. I remember I covered it in my last video where there was a payout from Pfizer. That was a split there, and a good portion of it, about $70 of Pfizer, got split off in another company. I know I had looked it up and put it in my past video where I talked about getting some extra capital within the portfolio that was reinvested into a stock last week. So that's in the past video, but I can't think of it offhand. We saw financials being pretty positive here, both the credit services and the banks. So I think overall pretty positive out there in the market. I haven't looked at a whole lot at utilities. They've been doing really well in this time frame. So could be an opportunity out there to look at a few. We have oil moving up 1.06, still year to date down in the negative. We have the dollar continuing to fall here. So it was at 91.73 starting, ended the week at 90.81. So here we are going down. Let's look at the 3-year here. Actually, let's look at overall. Where is the low here? So we're breaking below 90.81. And it looks like some back time in 2008, it did drop to 72. So who knows where we will actually fall from. We peaked off a little over $102 here back on December of 2016. And from that point, we hadn't really gone a whole lot higher than, I think there was a point where we broke 100 sometime here in 2020. It was a very short period, but then kind of collapsed. And here we have the dollar moving lower. Silver and gold are kind of bouncing back up this week. So last week we saw earlier that silver had gone down 6.14, gold had gone down 4.47. Here we have silver going back up 6.79. Year to date up 34.77%, and gold up 2.69, whereas last week they were down by 4.47. So gold didn't make up what they had lost last week, but still doing really well year to date, up 20.58%. Bonds were negative last week, essentially down 0.01. This week they're continuing to trend down lower. I saw the dollar was moving lower and the bonds are going lower, so this could just be due to the payout that was removed from the stock back on the 1st of December. So it went ex-dividend on Tuesday, so they removed that dividend of 0.14. So that could be why you can see here that on open on Tuesday, that stock price dropped. That's that dividend getting removed from the share price. Then they just kind of downtrended there from there. Now bonds, as far as the 10-year rate, look at that. The 10-year treasury is now at 0.97. So that is moving up very steady. That's very steady there. Interesting. And we have the 30-year mortgage rates falling 1 basis point from 3.01 to 3% here from 1 week ago. So last week we had reported bond rates or mortgage rates were at 3.01. So essentially it just moved down 1 point, down to 3%. So I'm hoping that mortgages remain pretty flat so that when I do refinance or finance my property here in 2021, that I will lock in a 2 to 3% range, where essentially with inflation you're paying into the mortgage, with the interest, but with the cost of inflation, it essentially kind of nullifies itself out. So that is our weekly recap. I only had posted one other thing, which was the November dividends. So if you guys follow me over on Instagram, you'll see that for November we were paid out $59.99 from our M1 Finance portfolio. I believe this is our lowest paying month. Some of our other months pay around $70 or $80, from the M1 Finance account. I have other accounts within my work plan over on Merrill Edge and over on Fidelity. So I think that this one is pretty nice as far as getting $60 in the month of November. And of these companies that paid out, we have ABM Industries, AT&T, JPM Morgan, Lowe's, Apple. We also had Eaton Vance, Main Street Capital, Realty Income, Avi, and Caterpillar. So we had a pretty positive month for the month of November, and I believe that December will end pretty positive as well. So that is going to be wrapping up this video for our weekly recap. Again, if you are brand new to my channel, definitely go down below, hit the red button to subscribe, make it gray, hit the bell to be notified every time I release a brand new video, and of course give this video a thumbs up, make it blue, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.